What's up, everybody? It's your favorite drugstore's favorite nerd. Today we are looking at... Actually, is Walgreens or the drugstore? Or is it a convenience store? I don't know. There's not many close to me. But we're looking at the Walgreens exclusive Antman and the Build-A-Figure Rhino. It doesn't really make sense to do them together, but it doesn't really make sense to do each separately either. So let's just get started. Let's build this fella. There it goes. That's good. Put the head in. Now let's talk about the heads real quick. I know that this one is more comic accurate, but I really dig this one, so I'm gonna go with this one. I know that's gonna drive some people crazy, and maybe this is new accurate, but this is like classic Rhino. It's a bit much for me. It's well done, and we'll talk about it, but it's a bit much. All right. Voila. So there he is. We'll talk about the head first. So the eyes are, everything's painted really well. I first have to say, like, if I feel like it's been washed and dry brushed, like the whole thing, and it's really good. The horns look good. Like the pink around the eyes looks good. The inside of the mouth looks good. The teeth are painted. It's a little crazy at the gum line at the top of the teeth, but it's okay. It's definitely not hateful. And then you can see how it plugs in. That you get your ball hinge here, your disc hinge, and then your swivel. But it's really good. The eyes poke out a little much for my taste. It's not wrong. It's just not me. And then I feel like this eye is a little bit off-centered from that one. It's as if one is looking at a squirrel and the other a groundhog. So my dad used to say that. Whatever. This guy. Just from putting my hands on him now for the first time, I'm liking him. Let's talk about him. So the head articulation, as we just saw, you get the hinge here. Good range of motion back and forth. And the swivel gets you a little bit due to the sculpt, but it's definitely enough. So no real complaints there. Once again, the paint looks really good on the face. Not a lot of wash and stuff on the peach or the flesh tone color, but the horn and everything looks all at least washed and maybe washed and dry brushed. It's hard to say. I think it looks good. I'm not gonna go too much into it. I'm just gonna be happy. We got a ab crunch, one click down, and that's it. Nothing back. That kind of sucks, but the down looks good, and it's all sculpted up in there, so that's good. All the cracks in the suit and so forth, the little bumps and everything, like, you know, for a plain figure, that's pretty cool. And then you get the waist swivel as well. It destroys the sculpt, but that's not, I don't really hold them responsible for that. He doesn't have a belt to hide it, so whatever, I'm good with it. The arms are on a ball disc. The articulation is extremely hindered by these pieces, but they do come off, and then you can even have a more classic looking Rhino, but I kind of like them, and I'm not going to be putting them in that pose, so my articulation is a little limited, but yours may not be. The ratchets forward are fine, soft ratchets. Bicep swivel, once again, you're hindered by this piece here. You can take it off, and let's see. You get a lot more out of it. You can get all the way around. So that's going to be a style choice for you and how you want to have him. But the good news is he's just 2 holes away from being pretty perfect there. Single hinged elbow gets you just shy of 90 degrees. So I'm going to say good enough for a character of this bulk. Wrist swivel and then wrist hinge. Not the greatest range of motion there, but once again, good enough for a size figure of this nature. Same on the other side. T-jointed ball joints on here for the in out, and then the swivel gets you back and forth. Range of motion is fairly decent. Nothing really back. but all the way out there and then all the way out to the side. Thigh swivels built in and hidden very nicely. Single hinged knee. This looks a little crazy, but what are you really gonna do there? I'll give them a pass. I guess they could have sculpted it. So yeah, they probably should have put some of those details, those cracks and so forth, but it is painted. So 50-50, pretty good all around. Ankles are on hinges, and then you get the rocker at the where it plugs into the foot, so that works well as well, and then the feet are all painted equally as good. So really solid Build-A-Figure. Probably one of my favorites that I've looked at least since Groot. Really a good figure. He's not huge. Like, I know a lot of people want that return to the huge Build-A-Figure, but like, I think that this is at least as good, if not better, than the Select, you know, to use as a Rhino for your collection. Quite happy with him. Very good. And just let's be honest, like, Spider-Man villains are kind of goofy anyway.
Do you have all the Spider-Man bad guys now?
No, I'm still missing a few.
Which ones?
Let's see, I just got Chameleon, I need a Dr. Octopus, I need a Vulture, I need a Scorpion.
Do all of Spider-Man's bad guys live at the zoo?
Go to your room.
But they've managed to make this one look cool. So, I'm really pleasantly surprised. Really pleasantly surprised. Antman. Once again, I was fairly pleasantly surprised. So I think this is the Spider-Man buck. I could be wrong about that, but I think it is. Head sculpt is unique and looks cool. This was a Walgreens exclusive. The antennas are a little wonky, but that's to be expected, and they were plug-in pieces. So you kind of get everything that goes along with it being that. The orange inside, though, is painted really well, and it kind of has a white outline around some of it, and then the whites of the eyes, it really gives the illusion that it's glowing, and I think that's pretty fantastic. And it's clean. So that's really good. Face sculpt looks good too. It's just I don't have any much complaints. A ball hinge neck, so you get the articulation that's really great there. Over to the side, everything pretty much unhindered. The red does get a little crazy. Like, it doesn't look as good. Like, it gets a little bit out of control there, and it doesn't. All the reds don't match perfectly, but they do match fairly well. There's one place where it's more obnoxious than others, but for the most part, it matches fairly well. You get your butterfly joint here and your ball hinge shoulders, so you get a good butterfly joint across, and then they swivel inside the butterfly joint and get you up to there, down to there. So it's really it's well articulated. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, works perfectly. Wrist swivel and hinge, that looks good. And then the paint here is okay. This is on a red piece of plastic and the black is painted. So inside the hinge you get a little bit of like, you know, you can see the red inside the black, like right in there. But it's hidden fairly well. I've seen them do this, you know, a number of times, like Tiger Shark, and this one is one of the better. This is a better example of it than most. Same on the other side. He does have two put your dukes up hands. You know, I kind of wish they would have done opposing hand just for a, you know, a little bit of a difference, like a variety, because he doesn't come with any accessories. So it's, I don't know, it's a little stagnant in that sense. The ab crunch, you get one click forward and then one click back, but it works pretty well. And the paint is continued almost 100% throughout, but better than what they usually do. They usually just cut it there, but at least they carried it up a little bit. And then on the back, same thing. On the back here is one of the parts where it starts falling apart. The good thing is that this isn't going to display, so, but you know, they should have fixed it. I'm not making excuses. Belt is a floating piece, pretty clean, and hides the waist swivel, you know, break and sculpt fairly well, and then you can move it down and get it all the way around, but you lose the sculpt. Red piece of plastic for the pelvis. Ball joints for the legs, but they they don't get you as far out as I would have expected. They go to here, which is okay, but I would have expected a bit more, to be honest. Thigh swivel, double jointed knees, they work just fine. And then you get this is where the paint starts to get a little annoying. You can see a lot of that red poking through there and the black. Not hateful, just pointing it out. And I think it was definitely the way to go, because if this had been a black piece of plastic and they painted the red over it, these reds wouldn't have matched. It would have started to throw the whole thing off. The only red that's over top of black is this chest piece, and it doesn't look so bad on the chest. It just looks a little wishy-washy on the back. So a lot of good choices being made here, even with corners cut, and that's what I'm constantly talking about. Like, Hasbro's going to cut corners, right? They have shareholders, and they have to be accountable for every nickel and dime. But if you're going to cut corners, this is the way to do it. This is pretty well done with every limitation that they've allowed to be placed on them. So I must say, pretty decent figure. Ankle tilts even get you up a fair bit, which isn't necessarily always the case, and back a good range, and then the ankle rocker is pretty much second to none. So yeah, good figures. Final thoughts wise, I gotta say, grab these guys. The Spider-Man one is a build-a-figure for the Rhino, so you got to be kind of in for the whole set, or play around in that aftermarket, which you know can be fairly vicious, but it's worth it. It's a great build-a-figure. I highly recommend it. And the Ant-Man's good too if you can pick him up, if you're attached to this look. If the movie one is fine for you, then by all means rock and roll. But if you want kind of this representation of him, it's a good figure. It's worth picking up. My only complaints are, you know, paint issues, but even that, like, the choices are fairly well made with the Ant-Man. I gotta be honest. Like, this is pretty good. Now, I don't know if I don't know that much about Ant-Man, to be honest with you, but like, is that how his gloves are? Does anybody know? Is anybody an expert? Are they black fingers on one side and then red fingers on the other? I'm not sure. If that's a mistake, then that's an issue, but you know, I don't know. It's a good set. The paint is pretty clean. The articulation is pretty much there. It's lacking some places for Rhino, but he's a big, beefy figure, so it kind of still feels okay. I gotta say, I haven't been this pleasantly surprised by a Marvel Legend in quite some time. I highly recommend both, and we're going to be looking at the rest of the Spider-Man series in the upcoming weeks. So if you're a Marvel Legends fan, get him. If you're hesitant about this Rhino, he's pretty fantastic, and the Ant-Man as well. I like to rip into Hasbro, but I can't really do it when they get it right. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.